Hello everyone, today's video is going to be a first impressions / look video with the Nomad Tokyo Harajuku palette. This is my first time ever trying Nomad, and the Tokyo, Shiloh's also here with me. Say hi. Say hi to camera. Say hi. He's here as well. Yes. It was my first time ever trying Nomad, and the Tokyo Harajuku palette is actually getting discontinued. So this and the Fire and Ice palette are 50% off, and the Fire and Ice palette just was not my vibe, but this one certainly is. A thing is, I did get my septum pierced, so that's going to be in both of the looks and throughout today's video and beyond. Also, I have a horrendous friend here. We're going to hope it's not going to make too much of an impact in today's video. But this Nomad palette, I do have swatches, and I will put them on the screen for you. This is the inside of the palette. It is a pastel light palette. The first row is mattes, the second row are satins, and the third row are like a shimmer topper metallic situation. I will also have two looks. I did an orange and yellow look yesterday, and then I'm doing this pink purple look today. Overall, I enjoy the palette and the formula that is in this palette, and I also recognize that these soft pastel shades are going to be different than a brighter, more intense, more saturated color story that they have been doing for a long time. For my first try with Nomad, I do enjoy the formula. A lot of people got disappointed in this palette in terms of quality, pigmentation, and so on and so forth. Going into this, I knew it wasn't going to be the most pigmented palette. In my first look, I used a regular eyeshadow primer, and then in today's look, the pink and purple, I used a white base, and you'll see that in the videos. The white base certainly helps. I do use glitter primer for the shimmers to make them pop and be as successful as possible. But I think people go in to this palette being extremely disappointed because they have different expectations than what this palette currently can hold. And if you want more saturated and pigmented shadows, then I recommend using another palette. You're dealing with like a white based pastel, very light shades. There's not going to be a whole lot of depth in this palette. For me, I bought this to use it primarily by itself. For me, being so fair-skinned, I do prefer a lighter look on myself. So it does have a black or a dark matte to kind of anchor some of these shades. I don't think it performs the way that most people would think. The most pigmented and the most popping shades is the matte orange and the matte purple. I haven't used every single shade in the palette yet, and I just did these two looks. So these are my first impressions still. For what the palette is, and I knew what I was getting myself into when I bought it, I do enjoy the palette and I do enjoy the formula. I would be very, very interested in trying other Nomad palettes based on my experience with this one. I have been seeing a lot of people so disappointed in this palette and or decluttering this palette, saying it's the worst Nomad palette. I just don't think people have the correct expectations for this palette. I haven't experienced any skipping. In the pink and purple look, I did have to build up some shades after I put shimmers on. Do not think that the mattes blended away. I just think they're very soft. These mattes are extremely soft, and in the mattes that I have used, especially with like a blending brush, a buffing brush, it does have a lot of kick up in the pan. To me, that doesn't bother me, and I haven't noticed any fallout on my face, and I haven't noticed any fallout when I apply it it's just in the pan. It's a little disappointing that Nomad is discontinuing this and the Fire and Ice palette. I personally was not interested in the Fire and Ice palette, but like I said, with knowing this formula and the way it works, I am intrigued to try some of their other formulas and other palettes. Their color stories are really spot on. I really enjoy all of the colors. In my opinion, when I look at this palette, I think the only shade that's a little out of place is the light gray shade. For me, in the swatch, it barely showed up. This is just a first impressions video, and this is just a video explaining my thoughts and reasonings as to why I think this is a good palette and to why I think other people don't think it's a good palette. My only complaint is, yes, that it's adorable that they have, you know, a different language on the front, but I wish that it was printed on the back that this is the Tokyo Harajuku palette. It does have Nomad Tokyo, and it does have designed on location in Tokyo, Japan, but it doesn't say Tokyo Harajuku. I really enjoyed this palette, and I look forward to making more looks with this palette. Here is a last and final look of this palette. You can see some of the imprints still in there, and that's my dog's tail. Hopefully you guys like the format of this video. Please like, subscribe, comment down below if you do have this palette, and I can't wait to see you guys next time. Bye!